Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing fine. Anyways, today I'm just going to be doing a story time about my experiences with religious fights in the northern part of Nigeria. And if you're not aware, I am from the northern part of Nigeria, so yeah, you tend to hear or experience religious fight mostly between Christians and Muslims. Anyways, let's move on to my first experience, my first ever experience with any fight, war, or things like that, guys. And this is a memory that is embedded in my head. I won't say it left me traumatized, but this is something that I would never forget. Like, I have the picture as I'll be given the story, I can see everything, I can remember everything that happened, everything that was said, and yeah, I just thought to share it with you guys because why not? I had just finished having brunch at home. It was during the holidays, and I'm always the last person to eat, especially breakfast. I don't know how to eat breakfast, so I tend to have it in the noon. And I had just had brunch, and I went into the room to chat on to go. To go was what was in vogue as of that time, and that particular area we had no lights, like there was no form of electricity all through my stay there. And that was the first time, or I would say for myself and my younger brother, that was our first time in that area because we moved a lot while growing up. So I had just finished eating, I was on to go, the generator was turned on, I just went into my room to relax, and from nowhere my auntie came into the room and she was like, Amfara. And I was like, okay. Amfara in English, Amfara is a term in Hausa that is used mostly or most times or only when those religious fights is happening. And Amfara, the direct translation would be they've started. And when she was saying it, it was something that I've never experienced. So I was like, okay. I was still busy with my to go. And then while I was trying to understand what was going on, our generator went off, and I'm like, okay, that's odd. The generator shouldn't go off by this time. So I went to the living room because she came in, she quickly, I think she changed what she was wearing, so I followed her to the living room, and we all went outside our gate because we started hearing commotions. We went outside our gate, and people were looking for water. It was such I was still so confused. And then there were so many people in our compound when I went out, and I was wondering what was going on. Then I realized that there was a well in our compound. Apparently it was closed. It's one of those things that was found on the land, so they just closed it. And I never paid attention, I never knew it was even there. And I was just seeing people bringing buckets, people I've never seen in my life. So many people, they were just coming in. And that was then I discovered that our neighbor's house was on fire and it was burning, and people were just helping, going to quench the fire. And I was just like, oh my god, like I was just processing everything. At that moment, they were able to quench the fire because, like I said, there were a lot of people helping. They were able to quench the fire, and then roughly 5 minutes later, I saw the woman and her kids come out because I don't know, it's an area that you don't usually tend to know your neighbor. And then they came out, and it was just so mind-blowing to think that they were in the house while the house was burning. And I will never forget, she came out with one flat screen TV, two big bags, and two of her children, and everyone in the area kept shouting at her, like telling her to run, to leave what she came out and just run. Let me mention that the area we stayed was dominated by just Christians, and guys, I kid you not, in our full area they were the only Muslim family, so that was why their house was set ablaze. And why, another thing that blew my mind was, in the midst when everyone was shouting, like not shouting at her, but putting the haste into her to escape with her kids. Like I said, the area is dominated by Christians, and once that religious fight starts, there's so much anger, and if you're in the wrong party or you're on the wrong side when it's happening, anything can happen to you. Anyways, we just discovered that the youths came back again. I think someone had snitched and told them that they were able to quench the fire in the house. So the youths came back, and then they made sure to set the house ablaze. And they broke, initially they just set the house ablaze, but the second time they came back, they set the house ablaze, and they made sure to destroy the building, that even when the fire goes off, there's nothing left of it. They were able to do it, they did what they did, and everyone was just outside their gates. My mom was now pleading with them that they should please calm down. My auntie, on the other hand, was begging my mom to please come back to the gate. It was such drama, guys. And the people that my mom was begging. The men that my mom was begging, guys, they were with very, very thick, very long, very big wood. And towards the end of the wood, let's say this is the end of the wood, it had some wood had almost 10 nails attached to it. So it just had spikes of nails at the tip, each one of them. And my mom was playing. My mom was trying to calm them down. My auntie was trying to plead with my mom to please just come back home, like to the gate. We were all outside, but she was just drawing her. And one of them was like, "Mommy, you don't know what they are doing to our brothers in town." Blah 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 blah. They were talking. My mom was able to come back to the house. They were approaching, because from my house there's like a very big field where you can see the road, and where I stayed in our area, you can't get in and out of that state without passing my area. It's just impossible. If you're going from where I was staying to one particular state in Nigeria, it's impossible that you don't pass that road. So the youth of my area went to that road, and they were stopping people, because that is how they normally do it. They were stopping people, if you're Christians, you can go. If you're Muslims, you're in trouble. So they stopped a particular bus, and most times the news spreads so fast, when something like that is going on. So I think we're all outside our gate, so you could see everything happening. It's a very far distance, but because it's like an open field, you could see everything. And they stopped a bus. Of course, everyone knew what was going on, and there was this Muslim man that was running, and he ran towards our area. He was trying to escape, but where he was running towards our area, guys, as I'm giving you guys this gist, I was very, very young. I was in SS1, just my first year of senior high school. Guys, this man was running. Next thing I would see, our neighbor, he came out with the sharpest sword I've ever seen, and he carried it. He was running. He went after the man, guys. He hit this man more than 3 times. I am telling you guys, more than 3 times. There was not a single blood on his clothes. He was wearing a blue colored clothes. He didn't fall down at any point, maybe to signify that the man got him or he was in pain. There was no blood, because this happened for at least roughly 5 to 10 minutes. He kept chasing the man, and the man, thankfully, he was able to escape. And that was just so bizarre to me, guys. It was just so bizarre, because I could see everything happening. I could see how hard this man was attacking the man with the sword, but nothing was penetrating his body. There was no sign of blood. He didn't fall at any point. Just that at some point he was staggering, but immediately he got up and he kept running, and he was able to escape. That wasn't enough, guys. When a car was passing, by then our youth had already stopped everything going on the road. A car was passing, so in my head, I feel the person was a Muslim, because they refused to stop. If you're a Christian, you're covered. So that was why I'm coming to the conclusion that the person was a Muslim. And they were trying to stop the car. The car was running. Of course, the person is trying to protect their life. And from nowhere, those sticks I told you guys, I saw them. One of the guys, they hit the person's windscreen so hard that the windscreen shattered, but that car refused to stop. And the thing just kept going on and on and on and on and on. After a while, we went back into our compound, and then there was this song of MI. Then I was supposed to check it before this video, I forgot. But the beginning of this song starts with a siren. And for only God knows what reason, I got a call, and immediately everyone turned to look at me, and my mom was like, "I should please change my ringtone. I should immediately, as they are talking about it, I should change my ringtone." Who called me? One of our childhood friends, and it was even an elderly man. He called to check. He said in our family was able to get my number from only God. I wasn't paying attention to the call, but at the same time, I couldn't just, something is going on. Blah. I just spoke to him, and I was able to just speak to him fast, and that was it. And after a while, I kept hearing conversations about police between my parents, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one. And my siblings kept wondering, why are they talking about police? What is going on? Is police, like, so many things? We never knew till date. I don't even know what happened, but I have a theory, and I'll tell you guys what theory I have later on in the story. And that was what happened, guys, on the first day. So after that while, there was this instruction that came that no one is allowed to turn on the generator. They needed the area as quiet as possible, so that when anything is happening or an attack is here, they could easily hear. And from every family, every house in our area, the male or every male in that family that is up to age goes out every night for vigilante. I could not sleep. My younger brother could not sleep. Like I said, we were very young. So my mom was now making all of us sleep in the living room. I don't think she even made us because we wouldn't have stayed regardless. So we're all lying down in the living room and we weren't complete because, like I said, the men in your family that are up to age need to go out every night for vigilante. So some parts of my brother was out, our gatesmen, they were out as well. So we're just the only ones at home. We were not allowed to turn on the generator. There was never electricity in the area. So you can imagine how tense the situation was. Everyone was very, very extremely quiet. And then the next day, my brother and my uncles, they went out to see the aftermath, and a lot of people came back, with videos of people, human beings. Oh God, I just remember something again. There was, guys, during when all these things was happening, there was also another part that they were able to attack some people, and the wood I told you guys about, they were using it to literally beat people to death. So the following day, people were coming back with pictures and videos of the aftermath of dead bodies that were burnt, and oh my God, I was one of the people that refused to watch or look at it. Just I could not sleep. My younger brother could not sleep. Both of us could not eat. We could not do anything. I will remember every time my mom would be pleading with us to please eat. Sleep, we would stay awake till mornings. We are just gisting, and my mom has to be awake with us because my younger brother and I were not eating. We were not even water, guys. We could not sleep, we could not eat. I remember my mom, there was nothing she did not promise us, there was nothing she was not ready to prepare. We just could not eat. That was such a horrible moment in my life, and it happened. This thing stayed on for almost a week or more than 1 week. What am I saying? More than a week. The generator, at that time, we even had to resort to drastic measures like charging our phones with the cars in the house. We're charging our phones literally with cars because, like I said, there was never electricity throughout our stay in that area, and you were not allowed to turn on the generator or make any noise that would cause a distraction because they needed everywhere to be quiet. And guys, that's something that I never forget. I never forget. I still have the memory still to this day in my head. And after, I think, roughly 2 months or 3 months, the head of the house in where they burnt the house came back, to see everything. And when the fire had gone down, if you see the house, guys, they destroyed, like, it's beyond, for anyone, for it to be habitable, they needed to renovate, not even renovate, they needed to rebuild the house again. That was how bad it was. And the day he came, I just felt so bad for him. And yeah, that was just one of the stories, one of the crazy experiences that I would never forget. Moving on to the next story. This happened in my junior secondary school. That was, I think it should be between 2008 or 2009. And this happened in Plateau State, Jos. And that's the state where religious fights tend to be very frequent and a lot, very serious. Most times, it mostly happens in Plateau State, Jos, Nigeria. Guys, we're in school. I was staying in a different state entirely, and how we get to Plateau State from our state, because we are so many from that state, that school there, they will usually charter a bus that will take all the students to that school. It was during exam period, and we kept hearing happenings that this is going on, that was going on. Everyone in school was scared because, like I said, is a normal thing in Plateau State. And where my school was located was like inside the village, almost like a forest, inside the village. So, and it wasn't fenced, so you can imagine how tense the students would be. Anyways, they called for a general assembly out of the blue. They told everyone to get ready, that everyone is vacating the school premises tomorrow. And like I said, this was during exam period, but luckily that was the last exam for everyone, if I'm not mistaken. And if any of my mates happen to watch this video, please share any mistakes I would have come across or I would have said. And I think that was our last papers, the whole school. And we were like, arrange your box, because immediately after our last paper, everyone goes home. Guys, most people could not sleep a night before, just in case. You really needed to be in that school or know the school to fully understand what I'm talking about. This was in a remote village that it wasn't fenced, and it's like inside the forest. And that's like, guys, anyways, the following day, I don't even know if everyone was able to read because there was just tension everywhere. We finished our exams, and immediately after our exams, as you're submitting, you're heading straight to the school bus. And after everyone had finished, it was time to go, and some of us kept talking to our mates who were staying in Plateau State, because we were going to a different state, and the road we were going to follow, we won't need to enter Plateau State. But they had no other option than to enter Plateau State, and it was something that was so scary, and we just kept asking them, how would you do, where would you go? Some of them were talking to their family members at home, they were in danger. It was just, guys, periods like that, just, it makes you forget about every other thing happening in the world. You just focus on safety and, what's to come next, what is going on. And we eventually got on the way, we went home. And the following time, when we were coming back to school, they destroyed, like, if you guys see the destruction when we were coming back to school, the destruction was just so massive. There was this very, very big popular market in Plateau State. I've forgotten the name, but if you're from Plateau State or you've been to Plateau State, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There used to be this very, very big, massive market, and that particular fight destroyed the market beyond recognition. So we're coming back after the holidays. It was just so crazy. So crazy, guys, that I wouldn't wish this experience on any other person. My last story. I'm laughing because you guys will not imagine the kind of experiences one has been through. My last experience was at Borno State. That's where Boko Haram started and where Boko Haram is heavy, guys. Like I said, we moved so much growing up. My dad was working in Borno State. He was just posted to Borno State, and most times my dad will usually come visit us for holidays, or we go to him during the holidays. And that was one particular time where none of us was willing to go for holidays, because we all know that that was where Boko Haram was, and after a while, my mom was able to bring us to the understanding why we needed to go see my dad, regardless of if it's in Borno or if it's in the United States. We needed to go see him, and I don't even know if it took a lot, but we were able to agree, I and my siblings. And on the day of the journey, when we had just entered Borno State, every 5 minutes, my mom was on call with my dad, and they kept talking about ambulance. And I'm like, okay. The first time, I wasn't really thinking too much to it, but after a while, the cause was just too much. And it's like I said, guys, we had just entered Borno State, and in my head, I'm like, why can't my dad wait? Why is he calling? He didn't call all the way when we were on our way. It's now that he's calling when we had just entered Borno State. And it was just so confusing. Everything was just so confusing. And I remember I and my siblings kept asking my mom, like, why do they keep talking about ambulance? Why is my dad frequently calling? And my mom kept telling us that it's nothing. Guys, thankfully, we finally arrived at my dad's house in peace, but we arrived in the night. And upon arrival, we're all in the living room, we're just catching up, we're all gisting, and from nowhere, guys, it was like we were in a battlefield. It was from nowhere, there was a sound of a bomb. And immediately, my younger brother started telling my mom, this was why I did not want to come here, blah, 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 blah. Me, my heart had already left. My heart had already left my body. And at that moment, I was on the same side as my younger brother, because I said we had just entered into the house. We had not even stayed up to 30 minutes, and a bomb went off. And my dad went out, they were trying to, talk, and then finally he came in and he said the situation was resolved and the rest. And guys, that was the first time we're ever going to that house. I don't know how the house is. Until date, I can't even remember how the house is, because we spent just a week there. Guys, my room was very far from my brother's rooms. It was very far from my parents' room. I was the only one by a different side. And then I told you we just landed. When I went into the bathroom to take my bath, that was one of the biggest bathroom I have ever come across. And like I said, I was very far from them. And my mom is the kind of person that if I should go to her and tell her I'm scared, my mom will tell me to go back. She will not follow me, and she will not let my brothers follow me. She will tell me to deal with it. So I could not go out to call for help because everyone is battling with their own thing. We just arrived. Everyone is trying to freshen up. We haven't even eaten. And like I said, a bomb just went off. I went to the bathroom, guys, and there was is the ceiling in Nigeria. So there was this hole up above. I think where they live, they normally leave a hole open for electricians. Maybe there's something to fix, they can use that as a passage. And guys, I will not forget when I was taking my bath. See, till date I cannot even tell you how, because I have a very good photographic memory, but till date I can't remember what, aside the living room, I can't remember what the rooms, what the positioning of the rooms look like. Like, my memory for that full house was blank. Like, it's as if it was erased from my head or my mind, or it was something that I never experienced. The bathroom was so big, that place was open, it was in the night. It was my first time ever being in such an environment, my first time ever being in the house. And guys, don't forget, a bomb went off. I will never forget that shower. I don't even think I took my bath properly. I was just taking my bath, rushing, and I just kept looking at that hole just in case maybe something falls down. Like, I don't know. Just because of the size and everything that was happening. Immediately, I finished taking my bath. I didn't even remember dressing up properly. I just rushed out to the living room. And throughout our stay there, I was mostly in the living room because I was the only person in that my section. And the whole house, like, guys, I was just not in my body, because when we went, there was a fight happening at that point, like a serious fight happening. And in the morning, we got to find out that it wasn't a bomb but an explosive. And we were staying, maybe a few of you might remember these experiences, so let me give some exact things that happened. We were staying a house after, or a house before, the governor of Borno State house. So it was in front of that house that the explosive went off. So you can imagine the impact. That I'm telling you guys, that if you've been to Borno State, you know how the house is, the house that I'm talking about. So imagine being just a house away from it. Now imagine how you will experience. Like, guys, I've experienced earthquake as well, and earthquake is not as scary as this sound alone is enough to drive you crazy. And that was how we put, I don't even remember my experiences, guys, because of how traumatized I was. I was just not settled in my body. And yeah, they were able to, get the explosive. They were able to, I don't even know what they did, but they sure did what they did. My dad came back to tell us that there was nothing wrong. And in my mind, I'm like, he's just giving his own gist. There's nothing wrong. I'll only be at peace when I'm out of the state. And usually growing up, I was never at home. I was always going to shop, always going to buy clothes. But in Borno State, guys, I did not even go out to buy ice cream. I did not go out to buy clothes. I did not go out to buy shoes. To tell you how serious and how scared I was, I wasn't going out. I wasn't doing anything. So one day my mom asked me to go outside. And like I said, it's our first time, so I don't know anywhere. And I was like, I can't go. I don't know anywhere. Before even knowing anywhere, I cannot go. Before I will see bomb. And she kept persuading me, because my mom is someone that always wants you to face your fear head on, and she kept telling me that the only reason why she needed me to, because what she was asking me to buy was something that was so, in my opinion, unreasonable. And I was like, and she's like, no, the reason why she wants me to buy it is just so I can go outside. Let me just try and go outside. Nothing is going to happen. And guys, I kid you not, where she was asking me to go was not even up to it's not even up to a 5 minutes walk from our house. I will not step my feet out of the gate. And then there's a lot of military men outside the compound. So my mom told them that they should please look after me, and she was pointing to where I would go to. And all of them were like, there's no problem. And they're all, but in my mind, I'm like, do I look like I'm holding gun, or do I look like one of you? Am I in your uniform that you're telling me? Guys, it was such a challenge, because when you come out here, when you go, this is where I'm supposed to go to, and just like 5 minutes walking distance is the house. And the house, guys, that's an experience that I would never forget. I went to get the stuff and I ran back home, and all of them were looking at me. The military men were looking at me, and I was not shy. I went to get it, went back, like everything, all my experience in that place, I don't think I can fully remember it. Yes, guys, the theory I was telling you guys is this, when we go home after the explosive had happened, my mom was telling us that if we remember the call she kept getting talking about ambulance, she was talking to my dad that he got an information that the fight had started and the area we were was exposed. So my dad kept saying he was going to send the ambulance because during a fight they will permit the ambulance to pass. So that was what she was talking about. So my theory for this police that she kept saying nothing, I think my dad was going to send police and she was saying, you know what, that was one of the craziest experiences. And a night before we left, my dad came out to the living room to tell us after receiving his call that the road we're supposed to take initially back home, that there's something actually going on that road. So if we're taking that road, I don't think I'll be here sitting today, you know, and it's just crazy. You know, when my dad came out and he was like, can we, he was telling my mom, can she imagine that he just finished talking to his friend and the road, because he kept looking out for the best route for us to follow, because like I said, it's a fight that never goes, you know, anything can happen at any time. And when we went there, the fight was still actively going on, so they were checking for the best route for us to go back home. So that was when he came out saying the route that they actually got was compromised, so we needed to follow a different road. And I don't even think I remember our journey back to where we were staying. And guys, I'm even proud of myself for being able to even make a story out of this experience, because for the most part I don't remember anything. I don't even remember my experience. I don't. And guys, I have a very good photographic memory, but it seems like that part was wiped from my mind. And yeah, that's just few of my experiences, and those weren't funny experiences. There's some days I just sit down, I think about it, and I just laugh, you know. Especially when my mom will be begging us for food. There's nothing my mom will not offer I and my younger brother on planet Earth, but and now that I'm thinking about it, this was like an open book check that we never got to use the advantage, or we never took an advantage of. Yeah, that's basically life in the northern part of Nigeria, or I would say another side that we experience, another side to life we experience in the northern part of Nigeria. Yeah, that's my story for today. Anyways, before we go, let's move on to our quote for this week. What's our quote for this week? So guys, our quote for this week would be, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, then we can catch excellence. And I feel this is really a good mindset to have, that you cannot attain perfection, but if you chase perfection, you will get excellence. And I truly believe in that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like it if you haven't, share, don't forget to subscribe. And please, if you have any suggestions for me, or you would like to see me try out a different thing, please feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.